Welcome to the Be Happy Now show. Flex your soul connection muscle and be your inner guide to fulfillment and purpose. I'm Claudia-Sam. If you know that you're here for a bigger reason, this is the place to be. Together, we ditch the self-care guilt and quit the go with less fear and more trust. Tune in to living life in alignment with your full potential. The Be Happy Now show starts now. Hi, welcome to another episode of the Be Happy Now show. What you're about to hear is a beautiful, fluid conversation with my friend Tonia and I. We first started the conversation in her Facebook group called Women Creating Legacies. It's a free group. If you feel like that name is calling to you and you want to feel empowered to continue the conversation, I invite you to hop into her Women Creating Legacies group. The conversation we were having was about being our own inner guides in relationships, using intuition to show up from a place of empowerment, from a place of love, from a place of not being affected by perception and blame and convincing and needs to prove, and instead tuning in to what feels like the truth from within us, the truth of our worthiness, the truth of how we belong right here in this worldly experience. And what you're about to hear is the conversation that happened inside my You Have It In You, also free Facebook group. You're welcome to go watch the video there. And I'm sharing, if you're listening to the audio, when you go to the You Have It In You Facebook group, you'll be able to watch the video, and I share my human design chart on there so that Tonia can give you a little bit of an overview of what human design has to do with being our own inner guides with the theme of relationships so that we can show up as our empowered selves. Enjoy the conversation. And, P.S., at the end, we have some beautiful invitations for you. Tonia is offering you a really amazing discount to receive 2 hours of your human design chart reading with her. And I'm also opening a few spots to offer you a free, no strings attached, empowered activation call so that you can declutter any of the stagnant energies that would be within you that are leaving you feeling disempowered and not moving towards your vision. So we're going to take that out and we're going to turn up the volume of the empowerment within you. We're going to activate that center. And so look in the show notes, click on the link to get your empowered activation. And I'm so excited to meet you. I'm so excited for you to tune in to the chat that we so empowerfully created together. Enjoy. Hi, Tonia.
Hi.
We made it.
We did. We are here.
We are here. I would love for you. I was just telling our members that what the discussion we were having and how we are continuing the conversation in here. And I would love for you to tell us a little bit about what makes human design this thing that you nurture and that you love to talk about. If there's a little story behind it to introduce yourself at the same time, that would be so fun to hear.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So I started Human Design Experiment, and because that's what they call it, an experiment. And I love that because isn't it all really an experiment? It's almost like we're all just taking spaghetti and throwing it at the wall and trying to figure it all out and hoping that it all sticks, right? But of course, most of it doesn't stick, just the sauce. So, human design, it actually has been longer than that. It's been 3 years now. I keep forgetting. I always revert back to it, but I heard about human design with my type A personality in a clubhouse room 3 years, 17, 18, probably longer than that. And all these people were in this clubhouse room. If you've ever been in Clubhouse, it's about 300 people in a clubhouse room, which was actually fascinating at that point in time. I remember the number 316. And they all had this graph posted as their bios instead of their faces. And they were talking about relationships and how this graph that looked kind of like a map connected to relationships. And I'm like, what are they talking about? And I mean, these people were intense. And so, me having a type A personality, I sat, I listened, I heard, and then I'm fascinated. So, I got to get my human design done. So, I get my human design done for free. Everybody can go get their human design done for free. Jovi Archives, my human, my human body graph. Just look it up. You can find a free human design, and you get this really crazy looking graph. So I got somebody to read my human design, and paid a nice penny for it. And I was like, yeah, well, that resonates. But like we do in so many things, we hear it, but we don't actually embody it. Like, I learned something, I heard what you said, but yeah, okay, whatever. I heard you. Cool. I'll find out about it by myself. So I bought all the books and started learning about it a little bit at a time myself. And I was totally fascinated. It is an encompass, it's really a system, okay? It encompasses Eastern and Western astrology, quantum physics, so there's some science in there, the I Ching, the Kabbalah, the Tree of Life. And this system is what we use to really tune in to who we are as people, this iteration of our life. And I use human design personally for everything today. Before, it was just about being closer in a relationship with someone else, like, who's my twin flame, who's my
Mm.
soulmate, like, why haven't I been able to get into a relationship? That's what this was all about, because that's what I learned. But human design in the body of work was actually created by Rahu, and it was a download that he got. And it's the same thing that we get when we listen to our intuition. We get downloads, we get connections. And this is the same thing. We start to tune in. What you do, Claudia-Sam, we tune in
We
to what
tune in. And I
we
love that. It is a download. And what I found with human design is that it just helps us understand where it's coming from. It helps us have a map and go, oh, that's why I'm like this. And it helps us feel, for me anyway, it helps me feel more at ease with the need for planning, for example, or it helps me feel like, okay, I get to be me. And it's okay if also I listen to my intuition. One of the ways that I, in my human design, get to make decisions is right away with my intuition. And it kind of confirms that, yep, that's just my design. That's how I get to show up. It just, for me, makes me feel really good.
and it does, because it's the energy that is uniquely yours. It's yours by design. It's yours how you were created in this iteration of your embodied experience here on earth. It's you. And people often refer to it as an aspect of being very woo woo. Oh, it's like astrology. No, it's not. And actually, astrology is not woo woo, it is a science, and we have from the beginning of time been guided by the celestial bodies. We have been guided by things that are way beyond our understanding that we call God, intuition. And we are connected, and we have these intuitions and these understandings, and we have these tools and these gifts that have been downloads from God to us. And human design is a map. But what I always like to remind people of, it is the map, but it is not the terrain. You are the terrain, because you are the wholeness of your experience. Okay. And what human design is showing you is the unique blueprint that you were created to be. The terrain has grown up and become a part of you based on your experiences, but there is a unique essence and a unique path to who you are and what you're supposed to do in this world, what your message is, what your medicine is, what your purpose is, what your mission is. All of those things can be found and connected to you in the human design if you choose to take on the experience of the experiment of human design in your experience of living your life. If you want to take on this system and say, hey, I'm just going to try it out. The reason I did it is because my business was failing. I wasn't connecting in my relationships with my children. I was a single mom. I didn't understand, no matter how much personal development work I did in my business, with myself. I'm on a personal development journey since 2000, no, since 1997, when I had a traumatic experience and my first love committed suicide. And so it took me on a journey from there. And I always had a need to know. I always had a need to understand relationships. I always had a need to know why, why we couldn't connect more, why I didn't understand, why I didn't. And we all have that. And in that in that way of trying to connect, we disconnect because that's kind of the society that we live in. It tells us that you and I are separate because I'm Black, you're white, you're in Canada, I'm in Virginia. You're this religion, you're that religion. You believe in Christianity, you believe in it creates a separateness. I'm male, you're female. I believe in abortion, you don't believe in abortion. It creates all these separations that puts us in these things that then tell us that the only thing that matters is our family, our people, our culture, our beliefs. And that is not how celestial beings and celestial bodies are meant to work. We are all of one mind, in one consciousness, in one God. And when we look at it that way, one of the things you said that was so powerful in my group, Claudia-Sam, was love. My word is grace. And this is the place that we all so deeply want to experience each other. And the separation is what has cost us so much in hate, anger, sadness, jealousy, envy, and we could go on and on and on, in an effort to prove our uniqueness and our individuality, which is already proven because God made us unique to fit into the puzzle of the whole of the oneness.
Wow. I mean, could you also feel everything that Tanya was saying? I mean, I was so captivated. Thank you so much for sharing your heart like this. And I'm curious if we go into the separation aspect here that is everywhere we turn. It's even in our bodies and in our minds. We separate the head and the heart. We separate what's good and what's bad. We separate from what's perceptive, what's our perception, and what is the quote unquote real truth of love, for example. And I'm curious if this separation that's also present in our relationships, how can we use human design, or how does human design, what does human design have to do with reconnecting in relationships instead of abiding by separation?
I love this question. I do love this question because, gosh, they're probably not. If you are not familiar with human design, what you will see in a chart, just visualize with me for just a second. If you close your eyes, if you just visualize a chart, with lines, and as if it was a coloring book, and there's just lines. And in this coloring book, think about there are squares and there are triangles and there are lines in the coloring book that you can fill in. There are pieces in this coloring book that are already filled in. But all of it's not filled in because it hasn't been finished. It's not complete. So all the pieces are not colored in. Okay. In these lines and in these geometrical shapes, some are filled in uniquely for you, some are filled in uniquely for me, and it's all different because there's all these different options you can fill in with, right? And so if you see the places where there are color, where it is filled in, that is energy that is specific to you that you have access to. If we have a square box that says heart, ego, throat, spleen, sacral. You all understand these as chakras. And certain places of these colored blocks are colored in. For instance, Claudia-Sam has her block of the spleen colored in. She has a deep intuition and she can go off of her intuitive knowing because
I can share my
oh,
screen very quickly so people can know what it actually looks like for a chart. I mean, this is just, you know, an example of what a chart can look like.
this is so when you see this chart, all of this means something. Every geometrical shape that you see, every open line that you see, starting from the top really quickly. Um, let me go out and come in. Let me go out and come in. It This human design is all about the collective, and what I was explaining to you in the beginning was about the collective. So think of us as a beehive. In the beehive, we have the queen bee who is giving direction. She is simply there to inform, and so the queen would be somebody who is a manifester. Okay, follow with me. And the people who the bees that are buzzing and creating the hive are what we call generators. There are some that are a little bit further out that are also, and generators are there to do the work. So they do the work of creating the hives. And that is a type. So we have manifestors, generators, and we have manifesting generators, which are the people who are there to do the work and inform, which is not a manifester, but a manifesting generator. So all the work, which is collective. Then you have somebody who is a projector. Those are the bees that are directing and looking at the other bees and saying, oh, this is what you need to be doing. They are like your managers. They are like the people who direct because they can see the energy of other people and what they should be doing. That is your Claudia-Sam. Okay. She is a projector. And then you have reflectors. Those are the people, those are the bees on the outside of the hive, looking at the hive and telling everyone else in the hive, hey, you need to be doing this better, or reflecting back to us what we are doing. Those are all like 1% of the population. Projectors are like 21% of the population. 70% would be generators who are doing the work, and manifestors are 9%. When you look at that as a whole and how we're supposed to function, that is the collective. That means we all have our own work to do in the collective by design. Claudia-Sam work to do, you can see in her chart, she has her spleen defined and she has access to energy to be intuitively guided. So she has a deep intuition as a projector to know certain things. She's intuitively guided. And we are all different and have access. What's interesting, Claudia-Sam, throw your chart back up there for me. I'm not that pretty any damn way. Your chart is, your energy is. When you see this, you see places that are white or what we consider to be open. Those places are the places of our greatest learning, but they are also our places of our greatest conditioning, because learning is conditioning. Learning is what we bring in from the outside of us in. Okay? And so the top diamond that you see there is the head working down. And so that's all about thinking. The ajna is all about creativity. The throat coming down, the square box under the ajna, that would be what is your greatest expression. So a manifester would have a defined throat, meaning it would be colored. A manifesting generator would have a defined throat, which would be colored in. Then you come down to your G center to the right, where Claudia-Sam has is her ego and will. So she is determined. It's defined. She has access to energy that is determined. She's determined to get things done. She has a strong heart and a very big ego to get things done. Now, people can use the word ego in two different ways, so please don't get attached to the words that we use in human design either. And so for Claudia-Sam in this chart, She has the ego and the willpower and the drive to go based off of her intuitive instincts. Okay. And that is what you see. But then when you drop down, if you notice, she has to the right, that triangle that's pointing in is what we call the solar plexus, which governs emotions. Okay. It is clear, it is open. She also has in the middle under that is her sacral, which is like access to constant energy. In a you that would be defined for a generator and a manifesting generator, which means they have those people that just can go. Claudia-Sam is not designed for that. She is a projector. She does not have the access to constant energy. So therefore, she would need to rest often in order to tap into her intuitive ability, in order not to be shoved out by that will and ego that's the constant driver that gives her that ability to feel that way. And then she has an open root. So why is this important in relationships? Let's just think about Claudia-Sam's open emotional solar plex. I call it emotion. This is the solar plex, right? Your solar plex governs emotions. She can step into a room and intuitively feel, but she will also have the ability to detect, and other people's emotions will drop into her emotional solar plex, and she will often pick up the energy and the feeling of other people, but that emotion and the energy of that emotions does not belong to her. And
Mm.
this is
That's
the power.
powerful. I was having a conversation with a client yesterday who was asking me, how do I know what's mine and what's not? And I really feel like it really depends on our own ability to tune into what we feel and what is usually ours before we can find out and tune into walking into a room and being affected or recognizing other people's energies. We really get to be our own inner guide first.
Your own inner guide, and the process that you use called tuning, the body, the work that you do, you see, because you can feel in your body when you walk into a room that the energy and the emotion is heavy. And so if you correspond with somebody who has a more heavy energy, I don't like to use the word dark and light as much, when it comes to people, because I don't really believe in that. But if you have somebody who is maybe angry, they may not say it, but you can feel it and sense it. And even if you have a conversation with them, if they come across angry, you will find yourself angry. And you need the time to, because what has happened is their energy has dumped into your openness of your emotional solar plexus. But with intuitive guidance and being able to tune into your body and your intuitive ability, which you're so beautiful at, you know that that doesn't belong to me. And you have the ability to do the work to release it. That's the importance of human design. And it happens that way in every aspect. A lot of things for people who have an open head, an open, a lot
Crown.
of thoughts that you have don't belong to you. They jump in and jump out all the time. They're not
Mm.
consistent to you. A lot of creative ideas, being around too many people and too many different ideas will make you feel confused, will make you feel overwhelmed, will make you have you questioning. A lot of people who claim they have imposter syndrome have an open head and an open ajna, but they learn an awful lot and they know an awful lot. But then they say to themselves, I feel like a fake because this doesn't belong to me.
Ah. Tanya, this is so powerful. I want to be able to share your work. How can people reach you to get a reading? Because it's one thing to go, and I posted in the chat here, myhumandesign.com / get hyphen your hyphen chart is a place you can get your chart. But it's like you don't know how to read it, but you can help people read their own chart. So where do they go? How does that work?
If you want to get a reading with me, just go to coachu360.com. It's there, www.coachu360.com. And I will also gift to the people coming out of your group, Claudia-Sam, a powerful discount for that. My 2-hour sessions are $555, and for your group, I will drop a key for you, and they can have it for $333.
Ooh, that is so generous. Thank you so much.
It is, and when I tell you my sessions are powerful, I'm not here to convince you, because, like I said, you can do it for free. Have at it. But it is a game changer when you come into it with a thought of, do I want to do it for relationships? Do I want to do it for wealth? Do I just want to do a general reading? Or do I want to look at it from a business perspective? Because all of that is about relationships and tuning in.
Wow.
And so I just love this conversation. I'm so grateful that you gave me the opportunity, Claudia-Sam, to be here with your people. And this is the power of connecting in relationships, and the power women hold as well, because people, they just don't know what we did to get here.
Oh my gosh. And this continues because we'll be together in the Global Coaching Community virtual retreat, October 29th and 30th. And I'm going to quickly share. So I'm going to share the link in the show notes and in the comments here in the You Have It In You Facebook group. If you want to register, it's a free event, and you can tell us about your talk, Tonia. I'll be talking about, the moving through the emotional tornado and feeling empowered to not be affected by all of the external circumstances that might leave us feeling like life is happening at us. So that's Sunday the 30th at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. Tell us about when your talk is and what it's about.
My session is going to be Saturday, the 29th at 9:30. And do you know what I love? Whenever Claudia-Sam talks, guys, she goes like this. And I know that she's tapping into like her intuition, like her deepest knowing, and she closes her eyes. I'm like, oh.
Well, thank you. That is, yes, exactly. Someone once said, "Oh, you're closing your eyes, you're thinking too much." No, I'm actually waiting to hear the words that are coming through. And so thanks for pointing that out. This will be exciting.
And so my talk is actually going to be about how to create deeper manifesting in your life, and how to really tap in to understanding how to manifest at a deeper level than what most people talk about.
Oh, that is exciting. I hope to see you there, everyone who is listening or watching this. And I have a last gift offering that is only going to be available for a few weeks while I have some openings, which is not a lot of openings, but maybe it's perfect for you. I'm offering a 30-minute free, no strings attached empowerment activation call. And in that call, we get to tap into what empowerment feels like for you, and you get to know, okay, what do I get to unblock so that I can feel empowered to move my vision forward? So I'm again going to share the link here in the notes in the comments, and go ahead, look at the calendar. There's a few spots, but perhaps it's perfect for your calendar, and I would love to meet you there. Thanks so much, Tonia, for being on. I'm so glad that we got to connect again.
You too. Thank you. Enjoy your day.
Thank you. You too, everyone. Bye.
You've been listening to the Be Happy Now show with me, Claudia-Sam. Flex your soul connection muscle and be your inner guide to fulfillment and purpose. Tune in live every Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern on transformationtalkradio.com. You are worthy of being you and of connecting to what stops you from living the life you are meant to live. Access more soul connection coaching at claudiasamcoaching.com.